Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
I'm Mantis.
and today we are talking to CG or not to CG. That is the question that everybody's wondering about James Gunn's new Superman. Mantis, I know this is a subject for you. Are you ready to get into this discussion?
Oh yeah.
All right, we're not gonna waste any time. Let's just jump right on into it. All right, guys. So when we say to CG or not to CG, obviously we are referring to the second teaser trailer for the new Superman movie released. And I say teaser trailer because there was really only about 3 or 4 seconds of new footage. And that is what has sparked all this controversy amongst fans and haters out there in the Superman community. Now, if you are familiar with this channel, and for those of you who aren't, Mantis is a very, very, very big stickler on CG. He is the first to call out bad CG. He does not like it. So I want him to take the reins on this because I want to get what he thought about the CG and how it looked.
Well, I remember hitting you up in Discord when I first saw the new quote unquote teaser trailer. Because, like you said, it is, but it's realistically a few extra scenes that we didn't get from the first one. There's a pretty interesting scene with Lex, who's all in a looks like he's stepping off of a helicopter, and he's got some like a coat on, almost like he's trying to look for or found or is in the cold, where we all know where Soups hangs his cape. So something possibly he's trying to find, where the fortress is there. But I think people weren't necessarily even really concerned with that. Obviously, it was this action shot of Superman flying. He does like a barrel roll through some ice shit where he's flying, obviously in the cold as well. And there's a couple of people, and I say a couple as in a whole lot of people, that tended to point out that it looked bad. The CGI quote looked terrible. And as you guys know, I do not like bad CGI. When you notice it, that means it's bad. I saw this scene. It did look a little weird to me for sure. And I get why people are like, this is garbage. This looks so bad. It doesn't, let's just put it doesn't look great, right? But the interesting thing was, and I know you mentioned this because it's a something that James Gunn had pointed out, was that there is no like actual CGI on the face of David Corenswet in this scene. Obviously, he's not in the Arctic flying fast, so that is a green screen behind him or blue.
Well, now that shot though, the shot of the ice there, they did get that. So remember when they began filming, they were in the frozen tundra. That is a shot they got from there. So all they did was take the shot that didn't have him in it, and then they
Sure.
put him in there. But
Sure.
he's not, like, he has no CG on him.
Right. They probably got it with a drone shot going, whatever, or maybe a helicopter. I'm not sure. But the scene of him, that is not, the memes everyone has seen on Twitter and Threads or whatever social media site, Facebook that you're on, where it's it's got the guy's face over it. I forget the guy's name. It's Steve Buscemi's character that he plays, and he's got like one eye like all cross-eyed and he's all fucked up looking. It's they put his face over top of David Corenswet, because if you look at the paused picture, it looks like it's got some laziness going on. Like one eye's looking straight and the other one's looking kind of up, and who knows, maybe David Cornsweet's got a lazy eye. I have no idea. I didn't tend to notice that any of the other scenes that he's in. Not that you get a good full face shot of him, other than when he's kind of got the shit beat out of him and he's laying on the ground. It's hard to tell. But I can see where people are upset about it. My only thing about it is, again, we're talking about a teaser trailer here of him flying. There's people comparing it with Man of Steel flying in the snow and the ice and all this stuff, and that's great. Hey, it's all for the internet. It's all discussion and debate that we're doing here of whether it's good or bad, or this one's better than that one. I just don't particularly care, quite frankly. So
So here's what kind of hits hard for me when we talk about people like nitpicking, because again, James Gunn said there's no CG on him, right? So he's, we saw many shots of a kind of behind the scenes where he's on a rig and they're moving it around to get the motion, the look of motion, obviously. So he's not always stationary on this thing. You know, when you're freeze framing shots in movies, shows, anything like that, it's easy to point out your face doing weird things, right? Like mine, part of the reason why I wear these is under intense light, especially when I have to stare because I had surgery on my eyes, this eye does not open all the way all the time. Like sometimes it'll stay a little more closed because of they don't respond well to light. Okay, it's nothing I can help. I have to have more surgery on it to correct it, right? Like, so I get really annoyed when people get on about like eye things because I have that, right, and self-conscious about it. So like his eye could just be doing something weird in the odd position he's in, right? But it's because people are just hating that they want to nitpick because there's no
oh yeah,
CG in that. There's no CG on him in that scene, right? So you're just nitpicking what his eyes look like or whatever.
and
Now,
they're trying to point it out like it's the same as the mustache, right? Like that's
which
what they're.
which I get, and but then also people have to realize with the mustache, I mean, you did the best job you could. You have to CG out a mustache of a face that is constantly moving, like facial muscles and stuff. And he couldn't shave it because he was under contract with Mission Impossible Fallout, right? So he couldn't shave it. They did the best they could. Like if that's really your biggest nitpick bullshit, then like that. But that was again people just looking to hate on something, right? And I just don't know why we're in a society if that's what people want to do. They want to find the one thing to hate on and go after it. To be fair, that's your thing. If you want to do that, hey, great. But
It's subjective. Yeah.
yeah, it is. I mean, you're allowed to do that. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying, for me, I can't speak for Mantis here, but for me, I'm still waiting till at least one, we get a full trailer, and two, until the movie comes out, right? Movie comes out first. Mantis will be the first one to jump on an episode here and say the CG sucked in that fucking movie,
Oh,
right?
I
He
will.
will
Yes.
definitely tell you, even if I don't think it did or I didn't notice it. Mantis will definitely notice it, right? So we're gonna get detailed explanation of the CG in the movie, but also that's like a 2 second fucking clip. Like if
Mm.
that's what's gonna destroy the movie for you, man, like I don't know how any movie lives up to your standards then if that's what's going to do it, especially given all the superhero movies we've seen of late with really crappy CG.
Don't do it! This was fun!
Yeah. And
Dude,
maybe
I
those
hope you
people
find
pointed that out
something.
too.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and
I'm
maybe they
sure
just hate
jumped on
everything.
it.
Maybe they just hate all of it. I again, like I was saying earlier, they had kind of put a side by side picture of the one we're talking about. I'm sure you're going to put it in the video, and then there was also freeze frames of Henry Cavill flying in his scene, and his face is all fucked up. It's all blurry as shit, right? No one's bitching about that. Like, well, it's because it's an action shot, it's because, okay. So that's explained away. However, it's, we can't do the same thing for whatever reason you want to say. Because we all know the reason. It's because most of you that are hating on this, I'm not saying it doesn't look weird. I'm just saying the extent that people are going, it's the bias against whether it's Gunn, whether it's you love Zack Snyder, you love Henry Cavill, that you can't ever like another Superman from then on, whatever your reasoning, it's clear that a lot of people are just, it doesn't matter what is going to happen in this movie. Nothing is going to live up to that standard.
See, now it's a double-edged sword for me because, like, you're allowed to hate on it, right? That's fine. You're allowed to say what you want and all that stuff. I don't personally agree with giving something that much hate over something like that, but again, that's where we all have differing opinions. But the one thing with the internet that I do love is the memes, right? And just like to put the face, like it is funny, right? And that's the thing. Like you should be able to laugh at it, like, oh, it's funny, it's hilarious. But we all know damn well that if we're filmed for long enough doing, you know, like action scenes, or we're out actually doing stuff, you're gonna catch our faces in weird positions and eyes doing weird things. Like there are a lot of people you see have the stigmatism. You see the eye not like what I'm talking about, not opening. Like you'll catch that in big movies, and they let it go because it's not that, it shouldn't be that big a deal. The big thing with this is, though, that a lot of people have to still remember. Now, I get you should have the shots done that you're showing in a trailer, right? It shouldn't say, oh, there's still post-production to be done. Well, then why the fuck are you showing the shot in a trailer, right? But for the rest of the movie, we're still over 5 months out from the movie being released. Okay, now, James Gunn had said, we had done a video previously when they first started post-production, that his longest film up till Superman, post-production-wise, was 5 months. Okay, Superman was getting a year. We are still more than just over 5 months out from Superman releasing, which gives basically the maximum length of time he's ever done another movie in post-production still. So it's not like, oh my God, this is our final product, this is what we're going to get all in the movie. He may still go up and touch up those shots, just because he may add CG because people bitched about it so much. You know, we don't know, right? Like we have no idea, but they still have a lot of time to work on that movie. Like even Captain America 4 getting ready to come out, they only did, if you don't count the reshoots, if we're just talking the post-production, right, not the reshoots itself, they only did 5 months of total post-production, and that was with the original movie and doing the reshoots, because it was like 3 months of post, and then they did the reshoots, and it was like another month and a half, you know, of doing those post-production of the reshoots. Okay, so we got a lot of time left for him to continue to fix things, and that was the whole point, was to take time with the CG to make it look good. So
yeah, and again, we said this isn't CG, right? Like, I know you mentioned this too, where this is all physical, right? If he's on a rig, and you know, I don't know about you guys, but you know, I've been on. If you've ever been like on a speedboat, and you're going on the lake or the ocean, right? Well, when you're going 40, 50 mile an hour out in the open, or on a motorcycle without a helmet on, you tend to, like, wind kind of gets in your eyes. You know, it's kind of hard to see. Your eyes can do kind of weird things. So who knows? Maybe that's what is happening here. And is in the article that we're talking about here, that even James Gunn had mentioned a little bit too, was like, you know, they may even use CGI to fix this issue. As you said, they could fix this quote unquote problem that everyone seems to have. And my thing is, like you, if this is the biggest issue in this whole film, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, see, I'm more focused on the fact that, like, we're seeing Lex go back to the fortress again, and I'm like, God damn it! Like, I wanted you to be an afterthought in this movie. That's my biggest concern. Is I don't want to see Lex be a primary villain again. Like, that's what I worried about with the new teaser. Like, maybe I'm fucking
maybe he's
weird.
Not. Maybe he's got a summer home up in the Alps, and he's just going for vacation.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're going to Jackson Hole, you know, like we're just like, fuck it,
Aspen, you know.
Yeah. California. Beautiful.
So where are you headed?
Aspen.
California. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking someplace warm. But like, that's like, that was my biggest takeaway, was like, I'm like, is Lex, because we see Lex in that kind of a scene, and then of course we see the Superman with that scene in the Arctic, and you're like, is he going after Lex? Are they doing this fortress thing again? Like, no. Like, we've seen that a couple times already in movies. I want something fresh. You know, and then they're all worried. They're all worried that his eye looks a little wonky in a literally like one frame. I'm like, hey, again, you do you, but I will say here on You, Me, and DC, and I can speak for most of the rest of the Cadmus Media Group here, that we're gonna wait until the movie comes out and actually see it, and then make our judgments. Right? I'm holding out hope. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm with you guys there. There are some things that are looking a little worrisome. There are things.
So funny.
What?
I just thought, it's like the next scene, he's like, you know, he's fighting Ultraman or whatever, and then he tries to use his laser eyes, and one goes this way and one goes that way. He fucking misses. Sorry. It's just
Takes out a civilian. My bad.
yeah. Oh shit. Lazy eye. Sorry.
We don't know.
Shit.
That just makes me think of on Central Intelligence with The Rock. He's like, Darla McGucket. He's like, didn't she have a lazy eye? 2 of them.
She looks great. Didn't she used to have a lazy eye?
2 of
Sorry. Sorry, that's how our mind works. You have to get used to it. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that's how we are. So, like, yeah, I want to wait and see what the finished product is. Right now, again, there are things that are worrisome. All right, there's a lot of things that kind of like you start thinking, okay, now we're adding this, we're adding this, we're adding this, we add this up, we add this up. Okay, the scorecard's not like it's not filling me full of the most hope in the world, but I gotta hold out, right? Because he's my favorite character. I love Superman. Okay, like I don't want to see another bomb because, and I'm not saying Man of Steel was a bomb, but you know what I mean from the DC. Like I want to see it be successful because I want to see it be a blossoming franchise where we get Doomsday, Darkseid, Brainiac. We get the cool Superman villains. We get some Justice League going on. I don't want to wait for another fucking reboot. And, I'll be in a nursing home by then. Like, so I want to hold out hope. But yes, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are things that are causing concern too. But that was not one of them in that fucking scene.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little bit overblown. I get the concern from people. However, I don't think it's genuine. I think it's literally just pile on easy pot shots that they can take. Some of it's funny. Don't get me wrong. The memes are kind of funny. But that's all I'm reading into it is just, that.
We'll it's to be expected because, like all the movies right now are under some scrutiny. We did a video just a little bit ago about Captain America 4 that just released a couple of weeks ago. And then obviously we know what happened with going on with like Anthony Mackie coming out and saying Captain America doesn't really mean America. I'm like, well, it's kind of in the name there, but so that movie's under fire right now. I will say one thus far. It's supposed to release 2 weeks after Superman. It hasn't come under a lot of fire yet because we haven't seen. I don't even think have we seen a teaser for Fantastic Four?
I haven't. No, I've not seen one, and I've not seen any news on it.
So, guys, let us know down in the comments if I've missed a teaser. I don't think I have, but it's been a busy few weeks. But I don't even know that I've seen a teaser, and I bet just like with Superman, we're going to get something during the Super Bowl, right?
It's worrying. It's worrisome that they haven't done anything. I haven't heard anything about it. It's worrisome to the point where they may end up pushing it quite far.
And you had said that before. We like 7 months ago when we did several Fantastic Four videos. You had said that you thought they were going to push it because it was scheduled to release 2 weeks after Superman. But also it could just be because they do have Captain America getting ready to release. So it's like you don't want to like let that release and do what it's going to do like first week or two. And then again, that's probably why like Super Bowl time, you might see a trailer for it. And maybe they don't drop a teaser. They do a full length trailer.
Sure.
But then, that movie will, again, they're keeping things under wraps maybe so it doesn't get so much scrutiny and come under fire like Captain America and Superman have.
Maybe.
It's
a bold strategy.
Let's see if it bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It's like, but Superman, regardless of how you feel about the MCU or the DCEU or the DCU, the Superman movie is the most anticipated movie of 2025. It is going to be the one that, like I said, it's going to either make or, I don't want to say break the DCU because it really hasn't started. I mean, I don't count Creature Commandos. So,
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's kind of all these projects that, might be up in the air if Superman doesn't do well. That's why I got to feel like he's going to make sure it does well, right? He wants a job for the next decade, all right? This is a guaranteed, this is fucking money. I don't think he'll fuck it up, but we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Mantis, do you have anything else you want to add being the guru of CG that you are?
No, because this isn't CG.
Good point. Good point. And another good point is if you have made it with us this far, you might as well go ahead and like the video, right? Helps the channel out, because the more you like the video, the more that YouTube recommends it. Guys, we're not on Patreon. We don't say, oh, dude, come, pay monthly and you can see shit. Like, we're just saying, if you give the video a like, right? And we do it at the end here for you. So I feel like we've earned it, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Help us
enjoyed it,
out.
if you really just did,
Help the channel
I mean,
out.
great. You don't have to. Help the channel out. Subscribe. That definitely also helps out. And then leave some comments, man. Let us know how you're feeling about it. Right? We want a community. We ask that if you try to be respectful to the other members of the community, us included. But we understand not us. But try to be at least decent to each other in the comments. We're all fans of, or we should be if you're watching this. We're all fans of the source material, or at least of the characters, some of them at least. So we're all under one banner here. We're all under the superheroes banner, so we can be respectful to each other.
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, that is going to do it for us here on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Later.